Genevieve Grimm's first murder was in the heart of Rome. Okay, Genevieve. Okay. Hello, besties. It's Honeybee. Welcome to my corner of the couch. Today, I am talking about Enchantra. I have been waiting for this book to come out. As soon as I read the first book, Phantasma, which I have right here, as soon as I read this book, I knew that I wanted to read Enchantra. Phantasma was phenomenal. It's definitely like a spooky haunted house vibes, and like there's horror, but what I really liked about it is like the horror wasn't written in a way that made it like super scary. Like I wasn't grossed out, I wasn't scared, and usually I'm like a whiny baby when it comes to horror and spooky stuff. This book, girl. As far as a non-spoiler review of Enchantra is concerned, it is a really good follow-up to Phantasma. So if you love Phantasma, you will love Enchantra. You'll love getting to know Genevieve. Like Ophelia is cool as a main character. I really feel like I aligned more with Genevieve though. Like character-wise, I saw myself in her a lot more. But like Ophelia is a really, really good main character, like in Phantasma, and the almost like personification and representation of OCD in Phantasma was really, really good. Enchantra does not have that because Genevieve does not have that. However, Genevieve is a really, really cool main character. She's really like strong and trying to be emotionally strong and trying to be independent. The love interest, Rowan, is a shadow daddy. I don't think that's a spoiler to let you know that he's a shadow daddy. Like I feel like that's something that might encourage you to read this book. I do believe you have to read Phantasma to read Enchantra, just because you get a lot more of the details about Ophelia and the family and all that. So it is like a true sequel. You do need the first book. However, it's not about Ophelia and Salem from the first book. It is about a new couple. It was so good. Literally like the last several pages, a couple chapters even, I was just in shambles, like nearly sobbing, audibly gasping, like the whole nine. Highly recommend this book. Please. If you have read this book, comment down below. I need somebody to talk to about it. So just a heads up, I will be recapping Enchantra by Kaylie Smith with spoilers. So if that is not something you are ready for, then obviously I will see you in the next one. And that's fine. Otherwise, here is the recap with spoilers. So Enchantra follows Ophelia's sister Genevieve, or Vivi, after the events of Phantasma. So Phantasma's happened. Ophelia is with her mans from that book. Salem? Is that what his name is? The Prince of Hell. He comes up in this book. So we'll get there. So Genevieve is on her Find Myself Italy trip. I don't want to see that as like a trope, but like the Find Myself Italy trip is a vibe. So she is in Italy, and the opening line, such a banger. Genevieve Grimm's first murder was in the heart of Rome, and I was like, holy moly, I was hooked. Genevieve is a really awesome protagonist. She kind of like doesn't really understand the world of the dead and demons and stuff, because her mother was more focused on her sister taking over the like family business of being a necromancer, which Ophelia does. After Phantasma, she kind of gets on her feet and all that. So Genevieve's on her finding herself journey, and she was given a letter addressed to her mother to come and visit Enchantra, an estate in Italy, because she had seen this photo of her mother and another guy with like matching lockets, and her mother's locket was like a whole big to do, and they were friends, and it was like a whole thing. So she's like, oh, is this another like necromancer family? Like, I really want to understand like someone else who grew up like I did. So she goes to the house. There's nothing there. Like, it's just like a gate, and her like cab driver's like, girl, I'm not leaving you here. So she ends up letting herself in, and the first person she meets is like, you gotta go, and takes her back out. And then she comes back in, and she finds out that she is now stuck in the Enchantra estate until the hunt is over. And she's like, well, what's the hunt? So she meets Rowan, and him and his siblings every year have to like fight to the death, but because they are half demon, or like wraiths, I think is what they're called, they don't actually die. Their souls just go to hell until the next year when it's time for the hunt. So the one who wins the hunt is free for the next year until the next hunt. And they do this every year because that's the deal they've made with the demon, who their father is a familiar for. It's a whole thing. There's a lot going on. But they do this because their mother has like a disease that only affects demons, and their mother is a demon. So she is ill, and by participating in the hunt, they get like a medicine that will keep her healthy for the next year. So that's kind of where that is, and that's where the hunt is. Now Genevieve is stuck there. They're like, okay, you will either be killed, or if you marry me, we can compete as a couple. And she's like, whomst? And she's like, I don't know you. I'm not marrying anybody. And they're like, if you don't, you'll die. So, and needless to say, they get married. They have to compete in the hunt. So she meets his siblings. He's one of 7, I believe. Their names are crazy. So their father's name is Barrington, and that's the one who was friends with her mother. And like, they're like asking, oh, how's your mother doing? How's your mother doing? Are you Ophelia? Like, they didn't even know she existed. She's like, no, my mother is dead. And they're like, oh shit, because they're like doing this to save their own mother. Because, you know, she's a demon. She's supposed to be like an immortal being, but if she gets sick, like, she will die, or if she stays sick, she will die. And because they are wraiths, or like half demon or whatever, they also themselves are immortal. So Genevieve is like the only human here. I think she's actually a specter, half ghost or something. So she's got some abilities where she can like go through walls and stuff, and it's like a whole vibe. The reigning champion is Rowington, or Rowan. Gravington, they call him Graves. Covington, they call him Coven. Him, I think. Remington, Remy. Remy and Rowan are twins. Seventon, they call him Seven. Wellington, Wells. And Ellington, they call her Ellen. But those names are crazy. I don't know why. Like, I remember taking a picture of like the names and like, hello, look at these names, and sending them to my friends. I just thought it was like a lot, but those are the siblings. So there's a lot of them, and for the past several years, Rowan's been the winner. He's won, I think, the past like 15 years or something like that. And he hasn't visited their mother in all that time. He's also like trying really hard to find a cure, because he's like, it's not fair that we have to suffer through this. Like, we have to find a cure. So he doesn't trust the demon to give them the cure. because he makes a lot of money on the hunt. So he has friends come and bet on the hunt. So like they're almost like pseudo celebrities in hell. People can bet on like who they think the final players are going to be, who's going to be the first hunter, who's the favorite. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff. Somewhere in the like rules of the hunt, there's like a newlywed loophole, so to speak. So if the year that you get married, like your spouse competes with you, and if you win, you are both free from the hunt forever. Like you basically get your escape. So obviously Genevieve and Rowan are trying to win that. And they have to put on a show and like actually pretend they love each other, even though like right out the gate she's like, I hate you. Like she despises him for like no real reason. So they there's like the loophole to get out of the hunt, which Rowan wants to win because then he can spend even more time trying to find a cure for his mom. Also, because there's two of them, if one of them gets killed, they're out. So a lot of his siblings are like, don't take it personally, but we're gonna try to eliminate you. She's like, oh, thanks. But otherwise they've been lovely to her. And I think is it the first one of the early nights of the hunt, or like right before the hunt starts, it's her birthday. And she's like, oh, this is a great way to spend my 22nd birthday. No, it's during the hunt, definitely. And they're like, oh, you get to enjoy our birthday tradition. We do this on everybody's birthday. So they have like this whole fancy dinner, and then they all stab their father. That's like their birthday. So anytime it's any of the kids' birthdays now, including Genevieve, they all stab their dad. Because he got them into this mess or whatever. It's a whole thing. So the hunt is 7 days, like it's a week. So each night a hunter is selected and they have to eliminate somebody that night. So that way the event lasts 7 days because there's 7 siblings or something like that. Then during the hunt, there's different like rooms and things where they could potentially win like an amulet that makes them exempt from one of the rounds, or all different things. So Genevieve actually ends up finding 2 of the amulets throughout the course of the hunt, but one of them is traded to one of Rowan's siblings because one of his sisters is a healer. So she heals Genevieve a couple times because she would have died otherwise. And when somebody gets eliminated, they are in hell. So one of the nights that they do find the amulet to be exempt, they end up going to hell to visit his mother. And it's been years since he's visited her. So, and he takes Genevieve to meet her, and it was really sweet because it's like, he's falling for her. She's meeting his mom. It's so sweet. It was a really sweet moment, and that's, I think, part of when they're starting, like, they spend a lot of time together because a lot of the hunt games are like hide and seek adjacent. So it's constantly like well, we found a spot to hide. Now we're stuck here for the next 12 hours unless they find us. It's like, that sucks. But they use that time to get to know each other. Like they're playing 2 truths and a lie, which kind of evolves into like a game of questions where they'll ask 3 questions and their answers can be 2 truths and a lie. That way they're getting to know each other because they do come from pretty different backgrounds, and they kind of got thrown into a relationship rather quickly. So the last night of the hunt, it's Genevieve and Rowan and Graves, and Graves is very much like, we don't want them to win because if he escapes, like the deal of the hunt is the winner of the 7 gets to leave. If he's exempt forever, then all of a sudden, like, there is no true winner, so everyone would have to spend every year in hell is basically the vibe. And he's like, if that happens, like, we'll never be free. It'll just suck for all of us. At the very end, she somehow convinced him to help her. So the brothers make a deal with the demon running this whole thing. If they turn on her and he's able to like they kill her and he's able to harness her soul, he would set them free. The hunt would be over. But the reason he wants her soul is because he likes having power, and running this hunt gives him a lot of money, which gives him a lot of power. However, Genevieve's brother-in-law is the prince of hell, and his father really wants him to come back home to hell, and he's like, I really don't want to go back to hell, because the whole thing in Phantasma is he's being punished. He's like, I really don't want to go back there, so I'm not going to. And like, they can't come and get him, they have to like wait for him to come back to hell. So they know that if something happens to Genevieve, he would be inclined to do something about it, which would then give this demon power, which again is what he really wants. He's like, oh, if you turn on her and, you know, I get her soul, or if you turn on her and kill her, freeing her soul from her body, then you guys are free from the hunt. And then Genevieve, because she was picked as the favorite, the crowd loves her, she gets to pick like an item from the like, the demon has like a treasure trove of like a whole bunch of like magical items and stuff. So she picks like a soul catching locket, very similar to the one that her sister has, the one that like had a heartbeat. It's a whole thing in Phantasma. So she picks the locket. So she came up with this whole plan, like, okay, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna catch my heart or my soul in the locket before he can get it. So during the hunt, they don't have access to like their powers. He uses like demon magic to like make their powers not work. But because she couldn't get hurt, he's like, you know what, since you two are turning on her and this is what's happening, I'm taking your powers so that you can just get her, because obviously without your powers you couldn't do it. So I'm giving you your power so you can just get the job done. And Graves uses his power, I think he's like a void, right, wrath, whatever. So he uses his powers to like keep the demon from moving. So they remove Genevieve's soul from her body and capture it in the necklace. But because they did that and he didn't capture it, like, it still fulfilled the deal. So they're free, completely free from the hunt, but they have her soul. So they like rush, they like portal travel to Ophelia and Salem, who are just like, they're just like living their lives. Like, Genevieve's on vacation, so like, she's dead, fix her. Here's her soul, here's her body, fix her. They're like, how did this happen? So they fix her. But so in order for Salem to fix her, he needed to, like, there's always like a trade-off when you're doing like magic like this. So the trade-off is she lost her memory of somebody she loves. And she's like going through the list of people she loves in her head, like my sister, my mom, like Salem, my silly demon brother-in-law, like everybody's here. You know who she forgot? She forgot Rowan. I was so sorry. I was like sobbing reading through like the last few chapters, because she doesn't remember him. She lost her memory, and like Ophelia and Salem told Rowan that, like, they're like, she does not have the memories of you. We're so sorry. So he's like, let me like write her letters. Let me like tell her what happened. So he does. He writes her letters like every week or something like that, kind of recapping the story, like, you did this, and this is how we met, and this is how we fell in love. And she's just like, I don't remember. I can't, like, I don't remember. And one of so there's an item that Rowan gives her, like a ring that like it gets warm if somebody near you is going to cause you harm. So like even if you can't see them, if it gets warm, somebody near you is intending to cause you harm. So he like tries to give it to her and she's like, ew, that's hideous, I don't want it. But eventually she does end up taking it and wearing it, and it keeps her safe through the hunt because she senses like when people are getting close and all that. So that's the whole thing. So I guess he kept the ring after the hunt or something. So he went to like the king of demons and was like, I want her memories. Is there any way we can give her memories back? He was like, well, I really want my son to come home. And he was like, I cannot do that. But I'm willing to give up like immortal life. Like I would rather live as long as Genevieve does and be with her and have her remember me than to be an immortal being. And so the demon king's like, we can work with that. So he imbues the ring with her memories and he's like, here's the stipulations. You have to be the one to give it to her. And she has to put it on her own volition, like with no, like you can't put it on her, like she has to make the choice to put it on herself. So he sees her in town. And he's like, oh, miss, you dropped this. And she's like, I didn't. That ring is. And he's like, hideous. She's like, how'd you know I was going to say that? So she does. She's like, actually, yeah, that is mine. And she does take it, but she doesn't do anything with it. She just like keeps it with the letters that she'd gotten for like a couple months. Like, and then one night it's like midnight and she's like, I'm gonna put that ring on. She puts the ring on. She gets all her memories and she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So she's like waking up everybody in the house because she's like having an epiphany because all of her memories are coming back. So she like, so all of her memories come back. She remembers everything, including, so when she's picking out what item she wants from the like little treasure trove, the demon has like basically you have to make a deal with him to enter, and the deal is that like when you leave, your memories are gone from inside the room. But when her memories got restored to her, she got all of her memories, including what happened in the room, which means she knows that there's a cure for the illness that his mother has. So she's like, I have to find him. So she goes to like her favorite place in New Orleans because that's where she's from, because she had one of the like questions that he asked, like, where's your favorite place? And she says it. So she runs there and he's there waiting for her and she's like, you've been waiting for me? He's like, I've been waiting for you since we brought you back. And he's just like devastated because like when he would see her, she didn't know him. And like, so he's a shadow wraith, so he, you know, shadow daddy. So he shadows. So he's like, I've always been shadows, but like in order to see shadows you have to have a light, and she's this light. And it was just, and she remembers. It's really happy. Sorry. When I finished this book, I was like actually crying. I'm like to my husband, I'm like, CJ, the book, it was so good. But yeah, I highly recommend Enchantra. Easiest 5-star read. Easy 5-star read. It was so good. Thank you for joining me for my little recap and review of Enchantra. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye. Chubby.